China's President Xi Jinping has called for further expansion of the military in an address to the Communist Party's 12th National Congress in Beijing. Xi is expected to be appointed for an unprecedented third term. Meanwhile, a man in England protesting as the Chinese Communist Party Congress began was dragged into the Manchester Chinese consulate grounds and beaten up. That's according to the BBC. He escaped with help from police and other protesters. A consulate spokesperson said the demonstrators were displaying an insulting image of the president of China. Greater Manchester police say that they have launched an investigation into the incident. So Elizabeth Palmer is joining us now from Hong Kong with more on Xi's speech. Elizabeth, what was the overall tone of his speech?
We are not being permitted to go into Beijing, so I'm watching from afar, like, as you said, diplomats and business people from around the world, and of course the Chinese people. The speech was a confident one. Xi Jinping said that the Communist Party had protected the Chinese people against interference and bullying from outside. That's a not very veiled reference to the United States. He pointed out that the military had grown in sophistication and size under his leadership for the past 5 years, and it would continue to do so. And he also promised greater prosperity to China's people. Many of them live in poverty, and he even set an objective out there. He said his aim was to deliver China into the ranks of middle-income countries by 2035. That's ambitious, but he put it out there. He also warned that there are hard times ahead, and that's just fact. The pandemic has, and particularly his zero COVID policy, has really damaged the Chinese economy. Youth unemployment, 20%, not good. So he's starting his next 5-year term with some real headwinds to cope with, and he did signal to the Chinese people that they were going to have to share the pain.
About the zero COVID policy, but first, how much of his speech mentioned Taiwan?
There was one mention, but it was right up at the top, which signals how important the issue is. He just repeated what he said all along. He is determined to bring Taiwan under China's control. He sort of really emphasized cultural exchanges and economic ties and so on, and said it would happen through peaceful means, if at all possible. But the sting was in the tail. He said he was not going to renounce the option of using force if necessary.
And so let's get back to the zero COVID policy, which has really sort of put a dent in the Chinese economy and it has led some big companies to try and find alternatives like Apple, looking at India as a possible place to produce the iPhones and so on and so forth. So any indication that he may be leaning into loosening this zero COVID policy a little bit?
Zero, actually. It not only international companies. I mean, it's millions and millions of Chinese people whose lives have been made miserable by these draconian rules, and often senseless, intrusively applied, kind of mad, really. And they were fed up. If you look at the hall of delegates, most of them are pretty much poker faced, but inside, many of them will have been listening for some indication that the rules were going to be lifted, or at least there'd be some room to maneuver. Not a bit of it. Xi Jinping described his zero COVID policy as a people's war that protected health and safety, and that he was going to stay the course, incredibly, as the rest of the world is moving on from the pandemic. Now, a lot of critics think, inside China and out, think that these COVID controls, which include an app on a phone, are very tempting to an authoritarian regime, which his is, because it allows him to control where people go. And even if zero COVID is officially abandoned, that technology, that app, is going to be repurposed for something else, because ultimately it allows him to control the population going forward.
Indeed, Liz. Liz in Hong Kong, thank you so much.